Here we go. This is the first dialog that appears in our wizard, on our MVC generator wizard. First of all, you have to write the driver, which is of course com.mysql.jdbc.driver, which is the MySQL driver, the URL of your database, which is the medical DP, the IP of your MySQL server, and the port, which is the default port in our case, the username and the password, as you see. In MVC-Generator, you can choose between two types of database connectivity, either using the normal connection scheme or using the connection pooling. It's very important to note that the MVC-Generator will not build the pool for you. If you have a pool, choose the first, a connection pool, a database connection pool, choose the first choice. If you don't, then you are going to choose the second choice, which is using the normal connection scheme. Then press next. The MVC generator connects to the MySQL database, to your schema specifically, and retrieves all the tables of the schema. Actually, you have to select what tables are you going to work on. In our example, we're going to select all the tables of the schema and press next. After pressing next, you have to choose the destination of your generated files. So hit browse and let it be the desktop again. Okay, press next. The first set of generated files is the beans. A bean is simply a class that has an empty constructor that has setters and getters for each private field that it have. This is the technical description of a bean. Actually, a bean here means an image of a table in the database. That's a bean. Of course, every table has its corresponding bean. The complaints table has the complaints class, which is its bean. The drugs table has the drugs class, which is its bean, and so on. We are going to write a name for the package that will hold or that will contain all these beans, which is the beans package, and this is the default name, and we're going to accept it as it is. Okay, hit OK. You'll get a confirmation message. Press next. Now the services class is the class that contains the SQL queries that you are going to use to deal with your database. The select queries, the update, the insert, the delete, the select one item query. These queries also are generated and encapsulated into methods. These methods are found in the service class. Each bean has its service class, as it's shown in this table, the bean name and the corresponding service class name. Again, hit OK, and you will get a confirmation message. Press next. Of course, your database contains relationships. The current version of MVC-Generator, which is 1.2, deals with one-to-many relationships. For these relationships, the user uses join queries. Actually, these queries also are generated in what we call joint service class. These joint service class needs joint beans. The joint beans are generated in this dialog. The primary table, the primary column, the foreign table, the foreign column, these are the tables that have the relationship, the one-to-many relationship between them, and the final column here represents the class name, the joint bean class name. Actually, this is not important right now. We are going to discuss it in later videos in more detail. Then we're going to press OK, a confirmation message, press next. The final step is to generate the joint services. The joint services are the classes that contain the join queries. Press OK, hit the OK or the confirmation message, and then press finish. Now go to your desktop and find the 5 packages that have been generated. I'm going to put them in one directory. Let's take a look at the beans package. As I said before, every table in the database has its corresponding bean. Let's take a look at the examination class. This class is the corresponding bean of the examination table of the database. Okay, let's say how the bean looks like. Here we go. This is the bean we are talking about. Let's format the code. Here is the package name that you have chosen, that you have brought in the MVC-Generator wizard. The required imports are also generated. The class, which is named after the table in the database, the examination class, of course with the class convention. This is the first field, it's get and set. The second field, it's get and set, so on and so forth. This file contains more than 1000 lines. If we remove the enters and the spaces and so on and so forth, we still have hundreds of lines. Of course, it's a very good save of time and effort. It's not just like that. Let's open the services class of the same table, of the same bean, of the examination bean. Okay, go to the services package, the examination service, drag it to NetBeans, and wait. And here it is. Let's format the code. Actually, this is a huge class. It contains only 5 methods: the select all method, the select one, insert, update, and delete. The select all method returns an array of examinations. Notice that this examination class is the bean that is previously generated to the same table in the database. The select one takes the primary key as an argument and returns only one object of the same type, the bean type. As you might notice that this method throws an exception. This exception is called more than one item exception. Let's go down until we reach the exception. Here it is, more than one item exception. Of course, this is not a standard Java exception. The class of this exception is also generated from the MVC generator. This exception is generated if this method finds more than one item in the database, which is of course impossible if you pass the value of the primary key. The third method is the insert method. The insert method takes an object of the bean type, an examination object, and inserts a record in the table, in the corresponding table in the database. The update method takes an examination object also and updates the record with the same primary key as this examination object in the database, with the values of the examination object passed as an argument to the update method. The delete method, which is our final method, takes also the value of the primary key and deletes the record from the corresponding table in the database. Let's take a look at the uncollapsed code. As you might see, it exceeds 500 lines. However, this file is much more tedious in hard coding than the previous one. This is a code, a real code, not just a bean. This is a JDBC connectioning and string concatenating and building queries and retrieving result sets and converting from lists to arrays and so on. This is really tedious code, which is really a very great saving in effort and time. Okay, let's use this code in an application. How can we do this?